This is my personal styling routine. I'm gonna go through it as simply and quickly as possible. Start with my hair wet. Like it's still got a little squish to it. I don't like it to be soaking wet. I like it to be a little bit more on the damper side. And this is how I always section my hair. I start from around the arch of the brow and then I section this off. I have a scar right here and that's usually how I know I'm in the right place. Then I just split this bottom section in half. Then I'm going to rake in on both sides a little bit of leave-in conditioner. Then I go in with a generous amount of mousse. I like to apply the product to both sides instead of just doing it one at a time. That's just how I've always done it. It's not really right or wrong. It's like the whole, do you put one sock and then one shoe, or both socks and then both shoes? Leave-in and mousse is evenly distributed. Going in with my brush styling brush, and I personally like to take small sections because I like smaller clumps, and I use the Bounce Curl volume brush. Taking a small section, I just sort of throw that up there. And then I brush through. Just gonna do this horizontally up the entire side of my head. I like to brush the sections up just to give more volume at the root. This side is brush styled and you can already tell the difference in the size of the clumps and the definition. So I'm going to repeat the exact same thing on this side. We're going to scrunch a little bit of gel on both sides. Alright, now both sides go to the back and we're going to take the top section down. I'm going to rake in my leave-in conditioner and my mousse with my hair just in front of my face. Okay, so there's two options here. I do a little bit different my sectioning on the top. I'm going to show you both ways. The first one is what I tend to teach my clients just because it's the best place to start and it turns out really well. And then I will show you the more advanced way second, which is how I typically do it. So the first way, you're just taking horizontal sections the entire way down. And then you're just going to brush straight up, give it a little bounce, and then let it fall back. Then you would do that the entire way forward, just horizontal sections up and straight back. If that's what you're gonna try and do, you can just skip this next little section. So how I typically do it is I take a diagonal section and I'm basically just making a bunch of little triangles. I feel like this helps give me more volume up top. The same thing, let it fall back. Then on the other side, doing another diagonal line. And now we've created a little bit of a triangular section there. Brush up and back. We're just going to finish the triangle. It's not a perfect triangle, but you understand what I mean. 2 diagonal lines back, 1 horizontal. Diagonal back, brush up, shake, let it fall back. I feel like this, because you have the hair going in different directions, it gives you more volume because all the hair isn't sitting in the same way. A diagonal section back. You want to start cutting down the size on the sides. Then again, diagonal back. Horizontal section, back. So really, I know it seems kind of complicated, but essentially, just think about making triangles. 2 diagonal sections back, 1 horizontal to connect the 2. Now that we have this small triangular section, I'm now going to do horizontal for the rest. And then for these last 2 sections, I like to finger coil the pieces. I'll show you how I do that. And that just helps keep definition for longer at the front. This gets split into 2 sections. Just brush this up. And then every little section, I just finger coil. You can also do this on just the last section. A lot of times I'll do that as well. Okay, and we are on to the last section. And we're doing the exact same thing. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip all my hair forward. Before we scrunch the gel in, I'm going to micro plop, which is basically just scrunching a cotton t-shirt to get the excess water off of my hair. And now we're scrunching in some gel. I like to scrunch with my head upside down and also with it on either side, just so that my hair forms and dries in a way that can be flipped around. This is when I would sometimes spray in a little bit of hairspray, but I used a very strong hold gel, so we should be good. If I'm diffusing and I feel like my hair isn't forming good enough of a cast, then I'll either do this master's technique or I'll just spray in hairspray. Most of the time it's hairspray. Sometimes I will put pin curl clips up at the top just to avoid my roots getting weighed down. Sometimes I don't do it, but I'm going to show you anyway just so you know. Now we're going to diffuse. I always diffuse my hair. The way that I like to diffuse is I will hover first until I start to feel my cast solidifying a little bit, and then I will go in and cup. I like to have my head flipped upside down. I'll move it side to side. I kind of just like to move around while I'm diffusing, just so that my roots don't get stuck down to my scalp. I want as much movement as possible. When I hover, I like to start by focusing on the root just so that they dry at the same time as the ends, because the ends like to dry a lot faster. One, because it's older hair, especially when you're cupping, all of the air is going to your ends mainly, so I like to give my roots a little bit of a head start by starting out there when I hover. I have it on full speed and I will typically stay on low heat the whole time. I'll switch it to cool air when I'm actually cupping, but most of the time I'm staying at low heat the whole time. Speed always stays high because I don't have time for low speed. Because my underneath section is a lot curlier, I try not to cup it too much, honestly. If I cup this a lot, it's going to shrink up and it's going to sit a lot shorter than the rest. Typically, I like to scrunch out the crunch at about 80 to 90% dry. I'll usually do this while I'm diffusing. It's a little bit drier than it would normally be, just because I'm also filming the scrunch out the crunch demonstration. I wanted my hair to be a little bit drier for that. But sometimes I do let it dry all the way. I also don't always fully dry my hair. I'll usually stop at about 80% and just let it air dry the rest of the way. It's not all or nothing. You don't have to fully diffuse your hair, or you don't have to fully air dry your hair. You can do a mix of both. So I'm just taking a little oil in my hands. You can do this without oil as well. I just like to use a little bit of oil just to seal the moisture in my hair. It also helps to soften too. You can also clap the crunch out. Sometimes if I have a really strong cast up top, I will clap it, because when you're scrunching, you're not really getting up there. The difference in both sides is crazy. This is what I mean when I say you can have nice, soft results even though you had a crazy cast. It doesn't have to stop here. It very easily can turn into this. Okay, now that both sides are scrunched out, I will just go through and do basically like a finishing routine, which scrunching out the crunch is part of that. I'll just go through and separate any clumps that I feel are too big. I'll fix any wonky curls, usually just take some foam and finger roll them. Sometimes I'll steam my hair. I'll let the steam run over my hair for just a little bit and just scrunch it and shake it out just to really fluff out the hair, especially if I have a cast that's not really wanting to break. Steam will always fix that. And then sometimes I'll just spray a little hairspray if I feel like I need it, but I don't really feel like I do because my hair has great texture and volume. Yeah, that is my styling routine. You can try it out for yourself, tweak anything that you feel like you need to tweak. I hope this video was helpful to you.